what's up guys, Benny here and welcome to my top 10 best loadouts for Call of Duty Warzone in February. Hopefully these loadouts are going to give you those best class setups and combinations to help you do as well as you can in Warzone, because we all know we want to get those dubs and we all want as many kills as possible. And I'm also really excited because I'm finally settled into my brand new flat, so I'm going to be uploading daily once again. So please, if you are new to the channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. There's 72% of you watching are not subscribed to the channel, and I promise you it will help you get better at Warzone. But let's get into the first loadout of the day, which is also my favorite in Warzone right now. It's almost like the perfect meta combination. You've got the FFAR and the Kar98k. The FFAR, brilliant at short to medium range. Second it goes a bit further, it kind of sucks, but that's when you have the Kar98k, which is the perfect aggressive sniper rifle. Now, on the FFAR itself, you're going to want on the muzzle to have that agency suppressor. It's going to give you that sound suppression, damage range. Doesn't sound as cool as a monolithic suppressor, but nonetheless is a really good and important attachment. Definitely get that as quickly as you can. Now, for the barrel, you probably go, I need the task force barrel, but no, you don't. After all the barrel testing that people like True Game Data have done, the 21.2 Ranger barrel is the best one. It's got the highest bullet velocity, which means your bullets are going to be hitting your target in the fastest possible time. So what that means is it's going to be easier for you to land your shots and get the fastest time to kill possible. Then on the underbarrel, you want the bruiser grip, which says melee quickness. It doesn't do that. It gives you the best vertical recoil control. For the ammo, I go for the Salvo 50 round fast mag. You need the 50 round mag in this gun. Like you'll have picked up the 25 as floor loot. It's got such a fast fire rate. It just disappears. You have to have the 50 for trios and quads especially. Then the final attachment I use is the Raider stock. It's going to increase your sprint to fire time and your aim walking movement speed, so you can kind of approach a corner, go around it whilst already aiming down sights. It's going to help your overall time to kill. And also, because this is kind of your moving around weapon, you want that fast sprint to fire, because we don't have an SMG with this build. Then your second weapon is the Kar98k. This one's pretty simple. Monolithic suppressor, 27.6 barrel, the tac laser, then you want the sniper scope, and then on the final one you want the sport comb stock. Now, if you do struggle with your aim a little bit and you're not being able to snap onto an opponent and hit them as easily, go for the precision comb. That means that your kind of the aiming stability when you aim down sight is pretty much dead center. You do go a little bit slower, but you won't have to correct your shot as much. So depending on what you like, I personally have been using the sport comb, but go for the precision comb if you're not as confident in your accuracy. And then on this attachment as well, you want to go customize, choose a reticle. I personally use cross thread, but you can use whichever one works best for you. And then I use EOD, Overkill, Amped, C4, and a heartbeat sensor. Next up, in my top 10 best loadouts to use in February, I have my Stoner MP5 loadout, which is a lot of fun to use, especially if you like using LMGs in Warzone. But first, I'd like to give a massive shout out to one of my partners on the channel, Command, which is my energy drink of choice. It's designed to enhance and optimize your performance when gaming, to kind of maximize your attention, so you pick up all the small little details, so you can react as quickly as possible to pick up those kills and get as many wins as possible. I normally have one of these before a tournament so I can perform at my highest possible level. Also, it's got zero sugar, low calories, and is packed with vitamins. So definitely make sure to try it out. I've personally been using Blue Raspberry, which is really, really nice. I have a link down in the description below, and you can use code Benny as well for a discount. But let's get on to my Stoner and MP5 loadout. On the Stoner itself, you're going to have that agency suppressor. It's pretty much the go-to attachment on all the weapons in Warzone. The barrel, however, is going to throw you off because they don't work. This could completely change in the next season when they kind of hopefully update all the weapons, but you need to be using the 17.8 Cavalry Lancer barrel, which gives you an increase in bullet velocity by quite a significant amount. Even though it says it increases vehicle damage, it doesn't. It increases bullet velocity. So if you're using the Stoner, make sure you're using this barrel. Next, I use the Field Agent Grip to control the vertical and horizontal recoil. You don't need to worry about the bruiser grip. For some reason, the LMGs work perfectly fine, and unlike the assault rifles, it's a bit strange if I'm being honest. Then for the ammo, I use a 120 round speed mag. Really useful, means you can take down multiple squads, especially in things like buyback quads. This thing is absolutely insane. The iron sight, however, is not that great. So personally, You can choose between using the Vision Tech 2 times and the Axial Arms 3 times. I personally think the Vision Tech 2 times is best, but remember, use a reticle that you like. Like if you don't like the default reticle, try these out. I've personally been using this one quite a lot. And also Clean Living, which I've always used on the Vision Tech 2 times. Make sure to just choose the one that is best suited for you. On the MP5, we're going to have the agency suppressor. We're then going to have the reinforced heavy barrel. It's going to give you the most amount of bullet velocity possible, which I think is really important with the weapons. Then I use the field agent grip. For the ammo, I then use the Salvo 50 round fast mag. And then we're going ahead and using the Raider stock. Now that's the fastest sprint to fire time and aim walking movement speed. Sadly, the grips don't really work properly because as you can see, like aim while going prone, that's not a thing in Warzone. Sadly, I think it was like a copy and paste job and just attachments aren't labeled or working correctly. So this could change in the future, but right now that is the best setup. My next loadout is the M16 Mac10. The M16 is heavily underrated in my opinion. So let's check it out. Now, the M16 build is pretty simple. You're going to have the agency silencer on there. The barrel you want is the 16.3 titanium, as that's going to maximize your fire rate with the weapon. The underbarrel is the field agent foregrip. Vertical and horizontal recoil control. You want to make sure those bursts are as tight as possible. Then for the ammo, I kind of personally use the 45 round mag. I don't think you need the 60 round. And to be honest, it gives you the least amount of penalties. And then the optic, I go for, once again, that Vision Tech 2 times with the Clean Living reticle. Once again, choose the one that suits you best. Then on the Mac10, it's something I've shown on the channel a few times. Agency suppressor, then the task force barrel, the field agent foregrip, the 53 round mag, and then I go ahead and use the Raider stock. That works best for me. I think it's the best overall build for the Mac10. I've seen a few people starting to use no stock, but personally, when you actually look at the actual data and working stats of the weapon, that overall seems to perform best. Now, let's move on to my next loadout, which I think is the meta loadout currently, because the CR56 is the best assault rifle in the game right now. If you want a fully automatic weapon, use the CR56. As soon as you get the hang of the recoil, which I don't think is too difficult, it performs so much better than the other weapons out there. You've got the monolithic suppressor, then you want the Zodiac barrel, then on the underbarrel, you go for the Commando foregrip. Now, once again, if you struggle to control the recoil, you can go ahead and use the Ranger foregrip. It's going to make it a little bit easier. It's going to reduce your aim down sight time, but once again, it's going to allow you to land your shots a little bit more consistently if you can't control the recoil. Personally, I use the Commando foregrip, the 45 round mag, and then the VOK 3 times optic, and then I use a T-pose reticle on this, and I think that honestly, best assault rifle in the game right now. If you're not using this, you're using the Kilo or something, I think you're missing out personally. Then with that, I pair it with a Mac10, which once again is agency suppressor, task force barrel, field agent grip, the 53 round mag, and then that Raider stock. And normally I use the Gallantry blueprint as I prefer the iron sights. I don't think the base Mac10 iron sights are that nice, but you know, let me know what you think down in the comments below. Perks and equipment and lethals are pretty much the same throughout the entire video, unless we've got some utility classes later on. My next loadout for February is a classic, which I think needs some more love, because the Ram7 is an incredibly underrated assault rifle, just because it does take some getting used to, because the recoil actually kicks to the left rather than the right, like most of the other assault rifles in the game. So if you've been using like the Kilo and the AMAX, you might just find that your shot feels completely off. But on the muzzle, you want the monolithic suppressor. The barrel, you have that FSS Ranger barrel. The underbarrel, you want the Commando foregrip. You do not want to use anything else because you do not want to punish your aim down sight speed. The ammo, you only get one choice. The 50 round mag has to be chosen. And then the optic, you want to use the VOK 3 times scope. It's the one I use on pretty much every assault rifle from the Modern Warfare game. Then I customize it and use the T-pose reticle. And that is the best Ram7. Then we've got the HDR, classic sniper. I know a lot of people have been using the LW3 Tundra recently, but I think that the HDR still massively stands up compared to everything else in the game right now. Monolithic suppressor. On the barrel, you want the 26.9 HDR Pro. I use a tac laser. The optic, I personally don't change anything here. You can if you want to, but I'd rather have the F-Tac Stalker Scout stock, which is going to increase that aim down sight speed, and then use FMJ so I can take people out through walls. If you don't want to use FMJ, you can choose a variable sniper scope, or you can put some an ammo mag on it. But personally, I think this is the best HDR build. Now, if we move on to my next class, it is still meta. It hurts me to say it, but the DMR got nerfed, but it is still very, very good. Don't stop using it because it's been nerfed. It is still an incredible weapon, and when I've seen people use it in tournaments, they still do a lot of work with it and beat most people in those short to mid-range, like especially the mid-range gunfights. Because yes, it does kick a bit more, but I think that really only punishes you at those extreme distances, which is where people are just beaming people across the map, and even if you had a sniper rifle, you stood no chance. You want the 16.3 titanium barrel on there. The underbarrel is the field agent grip. 30 round mag, and then the scope I use once again is the axial arms 3 times with this, because I'm normally fighting a little further, don't have the vision tech 2 times, 3 times works best, and then customize it. The first one is actually pretty clean, but I've personally been using the kill shot reticle at those further distances, and that's the DMR build. And then we have it with that Mac10, which we've used in this video a couple times already, agency suppressor, task force barrel, field agent grip, 53 round, and then also the final attachment, the Raider stock, and that's the Mac10 build. Now let's move on to our next class, which is by popular request. It's the Bruen. Yes, the Bruen had a time where it was at the top of the meta, which I actually really enjoyed. It's a really fun gun to use because it's an LMG, but it definitely feels more of an assault rifle with the build that we're about to use. Monolithic suppressor. The barrels, the XRK, some at 26.8, underbarrel, commando foregrip. Then you have to have the 60 round mag, and then you put the VLK 3 times optic on to kind of round it up. And it's still really, really good. It kicks a little bit more, bit harder to use because we've added the commando foregrip, so it's kind of not as fast an aim down sight time as when we used to have the tac laser on it. But that commando foregrip kind of counters the nerf that it received, and it's still a really, really good weapon. So if you haven't, go back, try this out. Let me know how you get on as well. Because I kind of want to see the return of the Bruen meta. I don't know about you. Some people probably will disagree with that. Then I used an MP5, not the Modern Warfare one, even though the Modern Warfare one is really good. The Cold War MP5 is actually better. And it's got the agency suppressor on there, reinforced barrel, field agent grip, 50 round mag, and then we put that Raider stock on there as well. But this is actually better than the MW MP5. It's got a faster time to kill, and no one is using it. Everyone's sticking with that Mac10. So it'll be interesting to see how long it takes people to catch on how good the Cold War MP5 actually is. The next loadout we've got is the Growl. I want to see a return of this. It is a beast still, and kind of works more of a long range assault rifle compared to kind of mid to long. Like, it's mid to long, but people used to just use this as the all-round meta, and I want to see it return because it is still really, really good. Especially since the Kilo got nerfed, I think this has kind of come back into the meta. Definitely make sure to try it out. That Archangel barrel as well. Best iron sight in Warzone, hands down. I do miss it. I'm kind of getting a whole nostalgic about a lot of the old metas, and we got that Mac10 once again. You should know this by now. We shouldn't have to go through it every time. But 53 round mag on there, Raider stock, beautiful, beautiful weapon. But now it's quite exciting because I've got 2 utility classes. First of all, the Groza. You can use the FFAR in here, but you want a weapon that is very good at short to medium range, because the only time you're really going to grab this loadout is endgame. Now, the Groza itself, we've got the Groove suppressor on there. We then use the Bruiser grip. The barrel, we go ahead and use the 16.2 Groove composite. It's got the highest bullet velocity. It's very similar into the FFAR build. Then the ammo, use the 60 round fast mag, and then the stock, I go ahead and use the Raider stock. Now, this is a great build, really good at close to medium, like short to medium range. But then the big thing is the riot shield. I don't see many people use this, but this thing, end game, is game changing. You see the amount of people who just kind of see a riot shield and they panic. And if you've got a couple of you, and because of the amp perk, you can switch to the Groza so quickly, and you just wait for the moment that they try to throw a C4. That specific moment they start to throw it, take advantage of that, and you can just beam them. But it will allow you to get out of a lot of tough situations when you're regaining an endgame when people already have power positions. Very situational, but always worth having. And then my final class is my Ghost class, which is always the assault rifle that I'm using the most at the moment. So in this case, the FFAR, and that's the same loadout that we saw earlier. Honestly, incredible. No, not the field agent, Bruiser grip. And then I've also been using the STRELLA, because you've probably seen it being used a lot at the moment, but this thing is like hit scan and is one of the few counters to vehicles in the game. Like it goes through a trophy system, so you can just take down a truck and get an easy 3-4 kills. So definitely make sure to try that out. But Ghost, so when you get your second loadout, flick up, grab it. It's amazing. But those are my top 10 loadouts to use in February. Let me know what you think down in the comments below and share your own loadouts or anything that you want me to check out. And also, I appreciate you guys so much for your support recently on the channel. I will see you tomorrow for another video.